Hello, sleep credit card debt payers. I hope you're all having a spooky Halloween season. So, this will be a Halloween themed special ASMR video. And in this video, you're going to be dreaming of going out trick or treating, where every house you go to gets spookier, and scarier. Spookier the house gets, so you're gonna be doing that in your dream. And now, let's go. It's time for you to dream, so are you ready? I hope you are. I hope you are ready to get some candy, so here we go. Alright, so transporting you into the dream world. So you are yourself. The same thing, the same person, the same age, the same skin color, the same location, geographically speaking. I hope you're not living in Antarctica, but let's assume you are in North America or any temperate or tropical region or any place that celebrates Halloween. So, you are at home. You are getting excited because you are really craving for candy. You got your bucket ready, and you are just about to dress up whatever you want. You could be a clown, you could be a bat, you could be a wizard. For example, my hair has completely turned brown, and I'm now a let's so-called youngster wizard or something, or Ezreal from League of Legends, okay? Whatever it is, more like Ezreal in League of Legends. Okay, so you are dressed as a costume, and now with your buckets and ready, it's time for you to go out. It is 9:12 p.m. right now, so it is the best time to start. So, you decide to go out the door from your house. You turn off all of your lights, and poof, off you go down the porch. And now you can start walking. So now you have begun trick-or-treating. And around you are plenty of houses that you are really feeling like stopping by and ask for candy. So you walk down your neighborhood and you find yourself a house. You stumble upon a house that looks almost exactly like your house, except that the porch is on the other side. So you already see another trick-or-treater dressed as a vampire, and he has left with a candy, some candy from the homeowner. And so now it is your turn to ding dong that house. So the first one, ding dong, that's one house. You wait patiently, and within seconds the front door opens. He is one of your neighbors, and it's some cool looking young man, and you tell him trick or treat, and then yep, the man gives you a candy. So what did he give you? he gives you a piece of chocolate. Yummy, 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 yummy chocolates. Did you hear that chocolate bar fell? So that's some surprise trick. Unintentional. This is milk chocolate. You received that in your first stop at Trick or Treat. And it is delicious. You could feel the taste without even eating it. You could even smell it from a meter away. So yeah, one house done. And you are off to a great start. So now you are about to go down the street and continue trick-or-treating. You already know this place. This is a peaceful neighborhood. And you already see a bunch of teenagers and little kids with their parents holding buckets of candy. And it looks like they are in their middle of trick-or-treating. Okay? And you have just gotten started. You're just getting started. And now you make a left turn, you go down the street, and you see another house right over there. The house looks so beautiful. And the house appears really big and appears well decorated. It is well decorated. In the front porch, you see glowing candles, fake torches, a prop fence, and some scarecrow in the middle. It's like a mini farm. And you go ahead and walk up to the porch. And you knock on the door. And then the door opens within seconds. Alright. You tell the lady that comes out, trick or treat. And what did the lady give you? This weird little thing. It's some dolphin spinning thing. And you take a glance out of it. Oh my gosh. It looks pretty high tech. And there is a lever. You can spin it around. Oh my gosh. You have gotten yourself a kid's toy. And it can't come without its sweets, because at the bottom you see candy. Tiny candy. So this is also candy too, so you are getting well prepped. And now you put it on your imaginary bucket, and you're well on your way with your costume, and you are just moving forward, and you're really excited to continue. So you continue on trick-or-treating. You exit that house. All of a sudden, as you proceed down the streets, you notice that the houses start to get a little bit less frequent. Before, you had a lot of houses left and right. Now, it is just a few houses with a bunch of trees and a wooded area that surrounds it. So now you'll see only a few houses every few 100 meters. So it's like less scarce, less parts. It's like right on the edge of the town that you're in, this imaginary town. And right out over there ahead of you is another house. this house is not well decorated, but it has spider webs. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of spider webs. And you look down at the spider webs that surround the fence, and you feel the decoration. But as you try to feel that decoration, it feels like it's real. Real spider webs. And then you go up, you see pumpkins. Maybe this house is giving candy, who knows? So you go ahead and knock at the door. Duck, 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 duck. The door kind of creaks, like thuds as you try and knock. It's like giving this creaky noise and the thud feeling, as if the door feels loose. Duck, 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 duck. And then you knock again, no answer. And then a guy appears, average looking man. You tell him, trick or treat. And then the guy says, yeah, sure, I'll give you something. Okay. Do you like hard candy? He asks you. Okay, you said yeah. And then he shows you this. Right in your face. For a moment, you back out, because that's the spider. What you're looking at is a spider. And then he tells you, I tricked you. I tricked you. This is not a real spider web. This is a fake spider web. Like, this is a fake spider. And the webs around the house are fabricated, so you don't have to worry. He tells you, unfortunately, I can't serve candy, I can't treat you, but I can trick you. Just like everyone. Trick or treat. Okay. You get the trick, the trick part, so yeah. So that house gave you a trick instead of a treat. Oh well. Okay. Let's proceed down the lane. Well, that house kind of scared you a bit. Although the guy was a bit nice. You cannot stop trick-or-treating. And you look at the time. 10:40. Okay, we're getting there. I felt like not enough time had passed, but for some reason, a lot of time had passed. You've only come out at 9, and you've done a few houses. So as you walk down, you notice that the weather starts to get colder. You feel the air becoming crisp. That's because we are nearing November. You know, winter's coming. So in case that you live in a tropical area, just assume that you are in a area where there are all 4 seasons. Okay. And now you can feel the air becoming foggy. The street lights start to show this glow as you walk down. You notice that the trees are losing a lot of leaves. And that's because most of the leaves at this time have fallen. As you're walking by, you notice you could hear the crackling of leaves, fallen leaves, as you walk down the sidewalk. You're so ready to find the next house. So you find another house. It has decorations. This one has a lot of pumpkins, a few jack-o'-lanterns beside both sides of the porch, and you decide to knock on the door. Toc, 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 toc. And nobody responds again. Toc, 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 toc. You knock at the door. Toc, 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 toc. Again, no response. And then, when that happens, you feel a breeze from behind you. You feel something, and maybe use your jacket, and you duck, duck, duck. You knock again, still nobody. Alright, that is not looking good. And some houses probably are done giving out candy, so we decide to give the house a pass. Let's pass this house and let's go to another one. Alright, but right after you turn your back, right in front of you, behind you was this guy. He was behind you right in time. You see this man says, "Trick or treat." Oh my god, I tricked you. I hope I did not jump scare you. In fact, it did. And the guy was watching behind you as you crept up to the house and trying to knock on the door. And the guy gives you one piece of candy. I gave you the trick, and now I'm treating you. Here's this candy. He gives you a small piece of candy. At least he gave you this, but the old man kind of tells you a warning. Be careful out there. You will need to be careful. He gives you the candy, and poof. Alright, you are off to trick-or-treating again. At this point, the weather has gotten really cold, and you are starting to shiver a bit. So you kind of feel a bit uncomfortable because the guy kind of creeped you out a bit. But after a few minutes, you decide to assume that it is part of the Halloween experience. You're supposed to get candy, but you're supposed to get haunted too. Your legs are getting a bit tired, so you decide to go stop at a bench next to a trash bag and try and relax a bit. Take a 5-minute break. So before we proceed, here's 2 minutes of just tingles. So you have finished your relaxation moment, and the ASMR tingle break is over. This will be the first of two. So now it's time for you to continue trick-or-treating. So you decide to walk down the street, and you turn into a street that you have not visited before. It's a different street, and you kind of wanted to feel a bit more, to have more of the Halloween experience. So why not go into the other street and explore a bit more while having extra opportunity for more candy. So you look at the time. Now it is 11:16 p.m. and to the right you see another house. This one has a lot of red lights, a Scream costume, and a lot more pumpkins. Maybe the house is serving candy. So you decide to give this house a try, and you knock at the door. And the person comes. It is an old lady. She tells you, "Oh, hey darling." You tell her trick or treat. You don't know why she tells you, "Hey darling," but it kinda creeps you out. She then tells you, "Oh, I'm sorry you ran out of candy. I hope another house is still giving candy. Maybe try the house on down the street." And so you close the door and you go back down that house. So I guess that house no longer gives candy. So you continue on. Your bucket is starting to gain weight. And you notice this place. This next place. Okay. The place that she pointed you at. It's a smaller house. A smaller house. And this one has a few decorations. It has a giant cobweb, a big fake spider, and some bones scattered around. You look down on one and you could feel, and you touch one bone. It feels like a real bone, but you don't care. You just want the candy. So you go to knock at the door. And then he tells you, the guy who opens the door tells you, "Ooh, are you ready for candy? There is a candy ball right at the back. Come and get it." Alright. So you go out around the parking lot. The driveway. And right behind the driveway are arrows pointing to the candy. Arrow says, "Candy there, candy over there." And at the back, there is some sort of mini obstacle course that you get through. And the obstacle course comprises of a little maze, basically full of giant hedges. This guy must have a nice backyard decorated just for Halloween, and then the maze consists of more spider webs. More ones, they are real webs, and some wax, and you feel like you have been bitten many times. That's because there are mosquitoes roaming around. The place looks damp as you try to navigate that maze, but eventually you reach the end of that maze. Now you are in the middle of the parking lot. So, for some reason, there is this sign in the middle that says, "Whoops, you have been tricked. There is no candy out there. You must get out." And poof, that kind of scares you because it feels like this house has tricked you. The man who would come and open the door telling you about the candy is an old-looking man, if you recall. He didn't care of how he looked, but now the fact that he tricked you made you recall of what he looked like. He looks like an average man, but no costume. And he tells you, "I'm out of candy. I bet I tricked you. Hope you had a scary experience." That's what the guy says. And then you're off to go. So you decide to move forward. And you're walking past more leaves that have fallen. You're feeling super cold and the air has gotten a lot more foggier. So, as you're walking, it seems like time has passed. You didn't realize it, but now it is past midnight. In fact, it is 12:02 a.m. It is November 1st. At this point, you have made your mind up and you start to go out. You start to go back out and try to return home. And then you do realize something. You're lost. Over the fact that you've turned to one street that you have never visited before. Now you are in the middle of nowhere. And at this point you've made some other turns, but now you have lost track. It is still kind of like Halloween. You've seen another house. After a good 10 minutes or so, the house still has jack-o'-lanterns. And poof, maybe this house can serve you candy. So you knock at the door. Trick or treat. Nobody answered. Trick or treat. And suddenly, the door swings open. And then there's a man. He smells like as if he smoked a cigarette before. He tells you, "Oh, you want candy? Come behind. There's candy inside my place." And right away, you kind of feel too spooked about it. You don't really trust this man. He feels like he's going to trick you and maybe kidnap you. But you had a strange gut feeling about him. He wanted to give you candy. He sounds nice, but your gut has won over you. And you ended up saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going home," or something. You tried to excuse him by saying, "I'm going home, I'm done." And he tells you, "Oh, I have candy. And you just skip. And he says, "No thanks." So you say no thanks. So poof, you close the door and you decide to walk down. And you try to find your way back home in this trick-or-treating experience. Because at this point, your bucket is all full. It may seem like a small bucket, but you could feel the weight that you've gotten some candy. And you kind of feel worried now because you're lost and you have nowhere to trace back from where you're from, as the weather is foggy. At this point, there are barely any street lights, and all you see around you are wooded areas and trees. You just hope to find a house nearby. So you keep walking down, and in about 10 minutes now, or 15 minutes, you see another house. This house kind of looks a bit more run down, and there's a door that also has those decorations. So you decide to walk up to the house, and instead of asking for candy, you try to ask someone for directions back home to your street. So you knock at the door, and this time you don't say trick or treat. You're planning to say that you want to go back home. You're not asking candy at this point. And after a few knocks, a door opens, and behind the door is this strange old man. He looks dead, and he looks almost like a skeleton. You then ask him, do you know where your street is? For example, if you lived in 123 West Street, where 123 is the number of your house, you'd say, do you know where 123 West Street is? He tells you, where? I don't know that street. I can't help you, but here is a glass of water. He tells you, you look thirsty, and oh boy, you are very, very thirsty. And so he gives you this glass of water, and you drink. And then he smiles and closes the door. At first, the water seems fine, but for some reason, you feel that the water tastes funny. It feels like the water tastes like water from a pond, or more like some liquid that has been soaked in dead meat. It's like the dead man's glass, or whatever that is. At this point, you're getting super worried, and you're actually freaked out of what you just encountered. And so you start to make your way faster back home, and you start to walk faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, up to the point that you are getting more lost the faster you walked. You haven't got any useful information from the guy that you tried to ask. So your best bet is to find another house. And at one point, after a few more blocks, you see another house. This house has more pumpkins. It felt like this house has just wrapped up the trick-or-treating session for the year. And their decorations are also out, they're also off. So the house is probably done. But you give it a shot and ask. So you go up the front door and you knock. No response. Nothing. Still still nothing. At this point, you feel desperate, and you just really want someone to come out from that house. This house looks like a typical house, so you assume that house is good and you trust that house. Alright, so before we wait, we're gonna go for the second ASMR break of Tingles. So I hope you do enjoy. Are you ready? Here we go. After a long wait, the door opens up. It's a lady, and this lady feels creepy, looks creepy, and makes you feel like you're drawn out of that lady. The lady has big eyes, and the eyes are like black, all black, and her skin is white, her hair is long, and it feels like that is her costume, and tries to scare you, but she tells you, "I am a vampire. You have met your fate." She tells you that. You then try to say trick or treat, but then the lady that you tried to talk to just disappeared within a blink. As you blink, she just vanished, and right when you see that she vanished, you just see this black door, like the doorway. The entrance to the house is completely black. You cannot see inside that house. It went from a friendly looking house into a rundown house that has no signs of life. And that house kind of flipped you into getting a bit more frightened. And as you get frightened, you back out and you start to walk faster, because now all of the houses are hostile. It's as if every house is out to get you. Now you're at a point where you're in survival mode. At this point, you're not looking for candy, but you just really want to go home. And you go on, run faster with a whole pot, the whole bucket, your entire bucket of candy. You start to run faster, hopefully to find a familiar street. As you're moving your pace, you notice another house. This one also has decorations, and it's also been off for a while. And all of the windows are shut, and all of the lights you see inside are closed. And you try and knock at the house, and this time this door opens. And right behind that house is a shadowy figure. This shadowy figure comes out of the door and starts to come after you. And he feels like it is like a silhouette, but this man is dressed all black, and now he is after you, and he exits out of the house and starts to follow you. And then now, at this point, you run, and you decide to keep running and running. And as you're running, you start to try and confuse the people that are coming after you. And you make turns left and right. You start to take deep breaths. You could feel the adrenaline pumping. With the fog hitting you, you could barely see what's in front of you. All you could do is run in that direction. And you tried to look at the street signs. The street signs finding. hoping to find a street that you are familiar with, but none of the streets are turning up. You've seen these weird names. The streets are freaking unrecognizable. And after a while, you could no longer run because your stamina can only withstand a lot of the running. And now you decide to go back to walking and slow down. So you kind of hesitate, but you're really curious to see if the people that are coming out of the house and trying to chase you. And you look back, there's nobody. Now it's just you. And you also realize that nobody has passed by. There's nobody trick-or-treating at this point. We are past Halloween. It is now November 1st. You look at your watch. It says 2:05 a.m. We are well past into dawn. And it is so cold that you could feel the frost and you could see your breath. You could see your breath. Oh my goodness. You're super terrified. And as you look around, you start to feel paranoid that these people are after you. The person who you've asked about the address, the strange vampire type of lady that has shown. And you also see the fact, you could see maybe some things, maybe it's messing with your mind. And you see and notice all of the trees are starting to become more bare. All of the houses you see look dead. That's because all of the lights are out, and at this point you're in such an isolated area that you could really find one or two houses per block, and the roads are starting to really curve, and the roads no longer feel smooth. They are now rough. You're clearly at a place that you have never been. Does the place even exist? Maybe. So, you are clearly walking on autopilot, taking deep breaths as you try to regain stamina. It went from a friendly trick-or-treat into a survival mode where you have to get out of this wooded area. You're taking deep breaths and slowly gain your stamina back. At this point, you're sweating for some reason, and that's because all of the cold air is condensing in your face. The bucket that you're now holding and touching is cold, and it's almost full. It's now adding weight to your running, and as you're trying to run, the more this candy inside your bucket sways. So it feels like you have lost everybody trying to chase you. And you start to try once again to navigate through this weird maze of roads that twist and turn, and skipping all these houses that appear to have been abandoned. And fortunately, you have seen a a street that looks familiar. And it has these addresses. An address that you may have remembered before. Okay. And you're just thinking of this particular address that you kind of want to go to, but in your mind you quickly forget. That's just because every thought is making you hallucinate, like your thoughts are really playing tricks on you, as if you're trying to find a house that you think you know, but you actually don't know that house at all. And as you're trying to navigate through the street, you notice something in the corner of your eye. And you see this black object that's standing at the house. And you realize it is the same hooded person dressed all black. And oh my god, it's him again. And right as you see him at the edge of your eyesight, you start to panic again. And you try to look. Oh no, he's gone. And he's gone. And maybe that's the fact that your eyes are also playing tricks on you. The fact that you've seen the same thing. Foggy nights, foggy lights, and foggy houses. Basically a foggy place. You then just assume that it is all in your head. And you try your best to navigate through your street, your neighborhood, in which you now try to find yourself in. Because you find yourself in streets that seem more familiar. At least you're no longer in the desolate, wooded part of their town that you have never explored before. Now, you're now in a suburb-like place where there are houses. There are also houses that are getting more close. And you can see some of them even have decorations. But now, at this hour, they're all gone. They're all not gone, but they're all off. Meaning that everybody must have been asleep. You totally forget the instant where you've seen the hooded figure, but at the same time, you can't let your guard down. And right as you continue your way, to your left again, you see the same thing. In a split second, you see that black silhouette of the hooded man again. The same hooded figure that came out of the house and then chased you. And this time as you turn, he did not vanish. He's still there. And now he's looking at you. This hooded figure basically has this hood, and it has no head. It's just black. So imagine this as the hood, like you have this hood here. But instead of that, where you're supposed to see a face, you just see black. Nothing else. But it is looking right at you. And you take your time to process. It just takes like a few seconds. And then poof, adrenaline kicks in. You start to bolt out and bolt and bolt and bolt and bolt. And your candy starts to rock and rock and rock as you're moving faster, faster, as if you're trying to fight against the wind and the fog that has been obscuring your vision. And you keep running and keep running and turn and turn and turn and turn and turn and turn. And eventually you come across the same street, the same exact street where you've stopped by those houses that gave you the candies, and even the one that gave you this spider as a trick. And at this point, you do not want to look back. You don't want to look back because you know you can assume that this hooded figure is still chasing you. And you're still in survival mode because now you are in this familiar street and you keep running. At this point, you're so much sweating and you're really tired of the fact that you just want to end it all and stop this trick or treat and it's all over. By the time you reach your house, it'll be all good and all settled. And so, eventually, within a few blocks, you finally turn to the most familiar street that you're at. Your street. 123 West. Okay. As an example. You could feel the rain start. It starts to rain now. Can you hear the rain? That is because November is here and it's closer to winter. Winter is coming. And now, before you know it, you're now arrived at your place. It's all relieved. You are all relieved that you finally arrived home safe. Safe from this experience. And you go inside in peace. Quickly turn every light on, because now you just want to be safe. There we go. Here we go. You're back at home. Safe. Really safe. But you did not lose something. You don't lose anything at all. Now you have a full bucket of candy. You're super ready to start eating. And you look at the time. It is 3:25 a.m. November 1st. And Halloween seems to be over. You are so tired that all of the adrenaline has faded, and you decide to try and sleep and call it a night. You have survived. You have survived alive. Oh my goodness. And now you are so ready to slap in bed with all the candy that you have acquired on your trip, including this little candy, including this little bar, and including this spider that this man gave you as a trick. And so you hop in your beds and try to get your sleep credit card paid off. But as you try to sleep, you notice that your closet door opens a bit. Maybe that's the wind, or maybe not. It's probably the wind, because the window is open. So, yeah, you sleep, and you doze off. You then hear a voice. It is the voice of the man, and smells like cigarettes. And he asks you, 123 Elm Street, right? Or something like that. and then the dream ends, and then you wake up in reality again. Alright, so before we end here, I'm going to give you one last minute of just tingles. This will keep you back to a relaxed state. So if this dream kind of scared you a little bit, the dream imagination experience, this will help you ease yourself. But it is Halloween, so it is meant to create a spooky experience. Alright, so I hope you did enjoy this Halloween special. If you're a kid watching this, hopefully you will enjoy trick-or-treating, but be sure to be safe. So, hopefully this video makes your sleep, eases off your sleep debt, and pays off your entire balance of your sleep credit card. Happy Halloween, and closing off this Halloween special, please give this video a juicy and sweet thumbs up button. It will be greatly appreciated. Hopefully this gets at least 30 of them because this was meant to be a Halloween special. By the way, this is just a costume and this is just a wig. So, based just for the Halloween vibes. So, anyways, once again, happy Halloween, and it's gonna go sleep. And anyways, peace. I'll see you later.